Holy man, what's good, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of ThinkAMill. This one is interesting. I haven't had this many topics in a while. I've been doing a lot of stuff, man. I've been working on some business stuff, some stuff in my agency. I just did a merger. I got a lot of plays going on, and and I think that when you get into this season, you kind of get out the loop in certain areas. Like you can't be good at everything. And me personally, I'm just not. I'm very good at managing a lot of tasks, but to be real with y'all, it's because I'm a systemized person. I believe in automation. I believe in having a lot of tools and stuff. So I'm very organized. It's the only way I can do a lot of this shit. I can't live off the fly anymore. Like, oh yeah, nah. Shit has to be written down. Shit has to be automated. Documents have to be created. Folders have to be put together. Reminders, all that good stuff. So we got a lot of business plays going. Like I'm not gonna lie, I think this is really the evolution of myself, my brand, my career outside of like the tech industry, stuff like that. Um, a lot of cool things coming, man. And I had a conversation about like people who think they know what you're doing because you post it and they have no idea. And I've been learning about this idea of like balancing haters versus people who really love you and people who secretly hate you but act like your friend. It's been a real big challenge for me. So that's what I've been going through on the forefront. Like to be real with y'all, like just battling this this enemy on my back of like not being able to get rid of people. And it's a hard thing for me, man. I swear, pause. It's really tough for me. Battling that and you know, just getting more comfortable in my skin. And I'll talk about something because this actually really, really, really helped me. Because as I've been going through all of this, finally living within the purpose of what I got going on, being able to say no more, being able to say, yo, I'm just gonna block you. Because a lot of times we really don't know how to get rid of people. And I discovered something called the shadow self. All right. The shadow self. And if you use this, I'm telling you, there's no way you could go back to being the person you struggle surpassing, right? So I had a few issues in a few key areas. Okay. This is what the issues were. I would have a problem posting about my successes and my accomplishments because I didn't want to come off as bragging. So now I changed my ideology and saying my accomplishments are inspiring to those it matters to. Because before I would sit back, never want to post myself, but I'm in this world where you have to be online. I mean, shit, I have 70,000 followers on the Instagram, then millions and millions of views online, but I would never really want to post on my stories. I would never really want to say like, yo, this is what we did. I would post like little small things, but nothing too dramatic. And I realized where that came from, right? I'm gonna tell you the other thing, and I'm gonna tell you how I kind of fixed it and managed that. The other thing was um not being able to just nip in the bud, cut someone off. I'm telling you. And as I've been talking to people, I'm like, yo, y'all just cut people off so easily. How do y'all do that? Somebody teach me. To everybody else saying, oh, block, I don't care what you think. But I would find myself having to plead with people who truly just don't like me, trying to get them to understand, like, yo, I'm here with you. Like, I'm not acting different. It's not what you think. Like, we're still cool. Like, I mess with you. I believe in you. And that helped me realize, like, yo, this thing called the shadow self, which is basically taking it's an ideology that the shadow you have, this old person is like kind of keeping you safe and keeping you in these old patterns. And once I learned that term, falling into your shadow self, and a lot of times people, that's how you end up in bad relationships. That's how you end up around people you don't like. That's how you end up suppressing yourself from achieving your highest goal because your shadow self. Now, let's go deeper, right? The shadow self thing. So I had to realize, oh, all right, Dre, where did it come from when you was scared to show your talents? When I was a kid, everyone would call me cocky. So I've always battled in my mind like, yo, Dre, don't say too much. They're gonna think you cocky, bro. Don't like don't be confident, overly confident around people who are insecure because they're gonna think you're cocky. And I realized I would continuously put myself in environments with people who were insecure to purposely not have a reason to thrive. And then once I started changing my environment and changing the conversation, I realized my confidence is someone else's arrogance. My everyday conversation is someone else's arrogance. And I realized I just can't be around those people. But my shadow self said, compromise. Nah, stay right here, bro. Don't do this. Don't brag about getting a contract. Don't brag about knowing these people now and locking in relationships. Don't tell nobody. Don't look at it as an achievement. Matter of fact, don't even do it because the people that you know are gonna be uncomfortable around you now. And this is stuff I would think about, like, damn, what is this person gonna think? If I announce this partnership and we're on social media and this is where I get clients to generate income, but I don't want to talk about nothing, what are they gonna think about me? And that's a lot of y'all. A lot of y'all, once you understand your shadow self, you're great. You have a lot of things that you're not secretly doing because of what happened to you before. And now you got this shadow on you, like, you don't want to relive that, bro. So once I realized, like, yo, bro, like, fuck it, let's relive all of those moments over and over and over and over and over again, but change the way we look at the outcome, right? So let's say you're a basketball player, and when you were in sixth grade, you were a top talent, but your dad said, yo, bro, you're never gonna make it. And you carry that with you your whole life. So every time you go to a basketball court, every time you think about joining some AAU team, every time you're thinking about, doing this or taking it to the next level, you're like, I ain't gonna make it anyway. I don't want to disappoint my pops. I don't want to go against what he told me, what I believe what the truth was. And for me, a lot of times the truth was everybody's gonna hate you. Don't become a target. And I'm like, yo, but bro, I live in a digital age where seeing is believing. And this is the world I'm in. So it's like, I gotta show up on this camera. I gotta do these type of things. So identifying with that shadow self, man, like, you know, embrace who you are, like the glow up. You have to, it's almost like a glow up. You gotta glow up a little bit, but show the world that. And I tell people now, bro, like this certain stuff you could do. Like if you're not an internet person, you don't have to post about your life. You don't have to show the people all the power moves that you're making because you're not an internet person. But me, guess what? I'm an internet person. So when I see, and what really hit it home for me about the shadow self was the idea that there are really people out there who are talking about, yo, don't do this, don't do that. And then on the other hand, you got other people saying, yo, bro, I'm so glad I saw this because it inspired me. Which side of the fence do you want to be on? I'll let you think about that for a second. Because the moment somebody tries to tell you, don't do something because it's not what they would do, well, that's your projection, bro. And then your shadow comes in and says, well, you don't want to disappoint that person, bro. So don't do it. But that's that shadow over you. So my affirmation for 2025 is kill your shadow. Now the shadow is good because it keeps you a little bit like on point. You know what I'm saying? And don't take this so literally. It's a it's a psychological metaphor. It's a psychological metaphor. And I'm pretty sure your shadow has tried to compromise you from being great plenty of times. And so my biggest thing was like making moves and telling everybody because I'm a we could all do this kind of person. But imagine when I got this shadow on me, like, don't tell nobody. You don't want nobody to, think you're cocky, bro. You don't want to face that same rejection again. And I'm like, but if I'm not inspiring, I'm not living. My shadow is holding me back. That one thought process has made me literally accept so much. And even the shadow self applies to so many different things, like your relationships, the way you respond to certain things, like when somebody does something, or like let's say you're dealing with a chick who's really fine, bad. Every time she get cute, you ready to say something to make her not feel as validated. But maybe because last time somebody you was with, whenever they would get cute, they would act funny, they would go out, they would cheat. So now whenever you around pretty woman, you associate that your shadow is like, oh, she about to be on that shit. You better shut that down. So you can't even really embrace it. Even when you're in a relationship with somebody who try to love you. Like the shadow, this all goes hand in hand. And then even when you find somebody you know ain't right for you, your shadow's like, but this is comfy though. This is comfy. Be with that person. Even though you know for a fact that shit was toxic. But y'all had the best sex. Y'all had the best ups and downs, ebbs and flows. Y'all maintained it wasn't challenging. That's a safe place. So you keep finding yourself in the same relationships with the same kind of people because your shadow is compromising your growth, bro. It's a shadow. It's right over you. You know what I'm saying? It's right there. But it's not letting you find change. So that's one thing I learned about the shadow self. And It really, really changed my outlook on a lot of stuff, and I hope that if you could take anything from this that I'm talking about with the shadow self issue is kill your shadow, bro. Look into it more deeply. I use AI and I talked to it for a little bit. I asked, "What is the shadow self? Is it real?" I broke it down. It's a psychological thing done by psychologists, and I want to say the 1920s. I can't fact check right now because my hands are not so free to like look up stuff. But look it up yourself. It for some reason it really hit me. It really hit me. I don't know about anybody else, but you let me know how you feel about that, right? Now, and the reason I got into the shadow self thing is because um I was watching the film We Crashed, and here's what I took away from this guy Adam Newman, who became a billionaire and destroyed the whole company within the same amount of time. So We Crashed is the story of the company WeWork, who got up to a valuation of $40 billion, selling the world on common communal or community workspaces, right? Like coexisting workspaces where everyone works in one area of co-living. And well, they work in one office and everyone can kind of communicate. They're all in, you could rent it out. And I went to a WeWork before with my company. I was working at a tech company and we were switching from our office and we had to like temporarily stay in the WeWork and they give you like this dedicated office space. Cool. But let me talk to you about Adam Newman. Adam Newman is a guy who was an immigrant, serial entrepreneur, many ventures that failed. He finds WeWork. He gets people to start giving him millions of dollars. I mean, he even got JP Morgan to give him $100 million in personal credit. I think it went up even more than that. But now here's what happened with Adam Newman. And this is why I wanted to, the title of this episode is called Nothing is Real because of this company. Because of this movie that We Crashed that I watched, shout out Kyle Marvin, a friend of mine who's actually in the show. It's not even a movie, sorry. It's an 8-episode series, one season. He was able to sell the world on a company that made zero money. It never was profitable, but was valued at $40 billion. Now, why do I say this? Because the value you put on something is the value that it's worth. I heard a great quote from Virgil Abloh. He said he had a something like this in his hand. This is a tea mug. He said it was a can, just a recyclable can. He said if I put this can in the trash, it's not worth anything. But if I put this same can in a room full of art, it's pretty much worth unlimited money because it's the perception. Now, that's why I say in America, once I learned that nothing is real, everything is based on the value you perceive it to be, it changed my whole thought process about business. And my speaker just turned off. To see Adam Newman make give take a he had a Chinese Asian multi billionaire from the bank SoftBank give him $4.4 billion for this company that wasn't even making any money. I said, this is how I know anything is possible. Whatever dream you have, bro, you could do that shit because the value is only created based on the value you put on something. So a lot of y'all are like, oh, I got to work my job and blah, blah. I got an idea, but no one's going to buy it. There are people willing to pay you $10,000 to learn something they can learn on YouTube for free because the value of it seems amazing. So when I saw this story of Adam Newman, I said, wait, all this guy was a charismatic immigrant who got everybody to believe that what he was doing was worth what it was worth. Only to realize the company never even made any money. But the hype. So I say like all these guys starting tech companies, all these things happening. If you want to do something in today's time, bro, it's not real. It's literally not. Like you can literally go out there, raise money for, and then mind you, there are people throwing money around because they have nothing else better to do with it. That's why I say like we work so hard to save our own dollars to when there's people who will just give you the money because they need an idea to invest in. And I think that a lot of us don't really allocate our time and our abilities efficiently enough. We're not thinking about the fact that, yo, bro, somebody is willing to invest in this idea I have. I'm just not putting myself in those environments. I mean, Look at the story of Adam Newman. This guy literally bankrupt the company after raising billions of dollars, making everyone lose massively, millions and millions and millions, and even SoftBank losing billions, and still walked away with hundreds of millions of dollars. While everyone else, there were employees who worked with Adam for 10 years, hoping to get IPO money because he was offering them thousands and thousands of shares of a company that wasn't even making any money. So imagine this, right? I tell you, come work for me. I'm going to give you 30 grand, but I'm going to give you $80,000 in shares that will be worth something one day. Okay, great. All right. This company is going to be $1 billion company and I'm going to get 80,000 shares. All right, fuck it. I'll do it. Only to find out you worked for someone for a decade below your price and only they walked away with millions and you didn't even get to cash in your shares because they went to zero. They went to nothing. That's why I say in this world, bro, anything is possible. There's always someone looking to be a part of something. There's always someone looking to invest. I mean, there's a website I'm gonna put y'all on called Y Combinator, where they literally have a list of all the stuff VCs are looking to invest in right now. And I say this to say, like, nothing is real. Everything is in here. If you can translate what's in your brain and put it onto the people, you could become a millionaire. Look what Adam Newman did. And not everybody will be that great of a person. But the charisma, the confidence, confidence will take you a long fucking way in this world. A confident person will take you a long way in this world. Being confident, I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, when you think about this story and I watch it, I'm so inspired. Like, yo, Dre, you need to start attaching yourself to some opportunities that have real opportunity out on the outcome side. Because a lot of time we do things so backwards. So my whole thing is like, well, if I can't blow up on YouTube, let me learn how to make someone's YouTube better who already has potential and go get equity. Okay? Like, there's a lot of other things. Sometimes you have to learn your role. If I can't figure out how to make people love what I'm doing, I'm gonna change it. Because a lot of us are putting ideas, but we're not asking the market what they want. The market, one thing you have to understand about business is find out what the market needs. A lot of us are putting stuff into a place where no one's looking for it. So then it's like, oh my God, it doesn't work. I give up. Well, sadly, bro, no one was ever really looking for that. But that story with Adam Newman really taught me like nothing is real here. The value is created based on what you can make people believe it's worth. That's why, like, if you put something in the right place, if I was to go hang around CEOs and that goes back into what I was talking about earlier about, you know, the shadow self and people trying to tell you and my worry about not appearing to be great and not showing what I'm doing. But it's like, yo, bro, then if you don't show how great you are, people will assume you're not doing anything. And they'll assume that, oh, this kid was running around and now he's just a nobody. So like no matter what you do, you can't win. So you have to do something. But it depends on what side of the fence you want to be on. But yeah, that story with Adam Newman was a life changer. I highly suggest you going to watch that. And it just shows you with the right charisma, the right grit, the right messaging, the right story, anybody's buying in. If you have a story and you learn how to tell your story, oh man, you're good for life. Everybody's gonna buy in, man. This whole thing with the billionaires and all this stuff is perceived value. Why do we pay so much for an iPhone? What's so special about the iPhone 16? When you really think about it, they're repurposing material and putting a price on it. What's so special about a Dior bag? It costs nothing to make. It's just the place they put it. I mean, look at the Payless experiment when they took Payless items and built a fake luxury store, and people thought like that's why I say like humans are flawed. We're flawed people. Like there's nothing you could tell me to believe otherwise that if Adam Newman could make a company perceived to be $44 billion, he didn't tell you the truth about the world we live in. That the money is printed. That these ideas are created and some stuff really does have valuable fixes. But what does it actually mean to be valued at $44 billion when the company has made no money? And I get it, yeah, like all the stuff that's in it, and I mean, this guy was making $1.8 billion, but losing $1.9 billion, and telling the world, "Don't worry about that. That means nothing." And people were still giving him money. And I say, you're sitting over here worried about, nah, find something that works. Find something that works. Build your confidence. Learn how to storytell. But that movie right there, man, really made me tell the test of time about how this world works and how America works. And how there's unlimited opportunity. You just gotta find it. You gotta find your thing because there's somebody waiting. Nobody believed in him at first, and then all of a sudden, everyone's like, yo, this WeWork thing is the future of real estate and working. But if you can build a narrative around certain things, people will buy it. People will buy it. So I think $1 billion. I mean, will I make $1 billion? Probably not. Am I looking forward to now? But it's talent. That guy was talented. That guy was talented. He never gave up too. Like one thing about Adam is that he was relentless, man. You couldn't tell that guy wasn't gonna work until it just didn't. And he still is a beast. But as I say, entrepreneurship, man, it's not for the faint of heart. But my point is to say this is the matrix, bro. This shit is perceived value. What is really worth what it's worth? We set the price on what things are worth, and we don't know that. It's a free market we live in. We create this perceived value, and we buy into it all the time and complain it's overpriced, but we created it. We perceive the value. Man, that guy Adam Newman, man, he's not a joke. That story was just so inspirational to me because I don't know, like it was just so inspirational that I had to share it because it literally made me get up and start working on myself. I swear it was that motivational. One second, I might get a little darker, but I gotta turn that light down. It's killing my face, killing my eyes at least. Um, no, I can't though. But yes, Adam Newman. Hey, you know who else I want to talk about? Cooking with Kyah is a product of inflation, influencer inflation. I want to tell you now, the girl's not that talented. The girl is a result of you men being thirsty. That's all Cooking with Kyah. She's a result of men being thirsty. Okay? I keep seeing this stuff about Cooking with Kyah versus this person. Cooking with Kyah versus this person. Why is she a topic of conversation? Now, me, I'm excited for her because you guys are all fools. You guys allowed something that has no real value to have value in a marketplace. And this is how it works as a why I went on my last rant about We Crashed and how he made something $44 billion that wasn't making any money because of perceived value. I watched her stuff. I'm like, what this really is about is men's lust addiction. And if we want to go further down the rabbit hole, this is really about the idea that men don't feel complete in their relationship and everyone is letting the internet tell them what should be happening in their household. So they see, and I want to say this as well. A lot of you guys are so vulnerable that you will see this young girl who still has braces in her mouth. She looks like a child. She looks like a child. And you really feel like, oh my God, if I had her, my life would be complete. You guys have no idea who she is. You guys saw a plate of food and a fat ass and said, I'm sold. And then you wonder why so many people lose everything they have because they bank everything into what perceives to be complete. I'm gonna get into Travis Hunter in a second. But you guys are banking and making this woman who hasn't really offered anything tangible outside of her butt cheeks and a plate of food. What is the hype about? And I get it, the internet has to do what the internet do. And I love what Nas said, is any man worthy of fame? Because truly, is any man just worthy of fame now? Is that what we're doing? We're taking something that doesn't have any real substance and making it bigger than it has to be. Now, look, this is what I call putting a woman on a pedestal. This is the same thing that a lot of y'all say y'all would never do in real life, but y'all are in her comments thirsting. Y'all are grown men. Get a grip. Get a grip. Now, I know somebody is gonna take this as hating, but I take this as ignorance. What's so special? You telling me you never seen a woman shake her behind or a woman with a decently round behind with a plate of food? So that just goes to show me, hold on. That just goes to show me all of y'all have never been around nothing nice. Telling me millions of y'all are simping over a plate of food and ready to crash out. And this is why the internet is letting it ruin their relationships in real life. Real life. You guys are letting what this girl is doing on the internet affect you in real life. And it's a hype. This is a product of hoflation. And this is a prime example of how when you let your lust trick you, oh man, you can make anybody famous. If I was Kyah, I'd be making a lot more money. 1 million followers is cool, and I've seen that, and I'm still looking. I don't see no product offerings. Collaborations are cool, but when that hype dies down, you need something that's long term. That's what I say. What are y'all fiending over? There's nothing to be that. And my shout out Jasmine Black. She says something like, "Y'all creating division over like Kyah versus this other lady named Cooking with Jay." So I checked out her stuff too. She's an older lady who makes good food. I think her food is really nice. But will I say, yo, I'm ready to crash on my real relationship because I need me a Kyah? But this goes back into creating perceived value. What does that even mean? You guys have to remember, it's the internet. You guys have no idea who that woman is when she turns off her camera and is not posting. I don't understand where this value comes from. But that's what this is about, man. ThinkAMill. There's a million ways to look at what you've been told. And truthfully, I don't think she's anything special. I think she's special because the world has made her special. And it's just like there's a law in the 40 laws of power called create compelling spectacles. And you know what that means? You create this idea that things, in plain English, you create this idea that things are bigger than they are. And then everyone starts to take it as such. That's all this is with her. But I don't like the fact that people are really crashing out in real life over what's happening on the internet. And I think that's what's making relationship hard for the 20-year-olds and the teenagers who are coming up, that they're setting expectations based on what they see in the algorithm. Now, mind you, the algorithm is about beauty. You know how many posts there are a day, but everyone sees the same ones? That's not by accident. Because the content that is curated the best gets seen the most. So we're basing reality on what is curated the best. You guys understand that? Curation is killing all of you. It's killing the way you perceive reality. So your reality becomes something that's curated, something that is fixed, designed, thought out. So then when you go back into your house and the crib is dirty, Shorty had a long day, kids is running around yelling, she's in PJs, it's her period, you expect her to start singing with a plate of fucking shrimp and grits and some booty shorts because you saw it on TikTok. It's not real, bro. But Kyah is about to run the biggest, if she does it correctly, the biggest scheme and make money off all of you fools. That's if she does it correctly. She's missing out on a lot of money to me based on I don't see much stuff to actively buy. Maybe it's in the works, okay? Maybe it's in the works, but you don't have much time. Because one thing about the internet, they will love you until they don't. That's one thing about the internet, that's for sure. They love you until they don't. I mean, look at the girl Abby Phillips who's super viral running around saying the N-word and she went viral. Where is she now? One thing about the internet, they will love you until they don't. Now, I think that we need to stop putting people on a pedestal who have not done nothing real tangible. I don't see the hype. I think she's a little girl And I think all of you guys that are thirsting over this because she does twerk in her videos are creeps, bro. And it shows. I was like, nah, she of age. To me, I'm actually around her age. And I still think she looks like a little girl. But if you ask these guys, oh bro, she's of age, man, and blah blah. Well, you guys are weird. She's a product of wholeflation, where now that when you can show your body and it shows the expectation that we have on women. Like you don't even got to give us much. That's what I say. Men are very simple. This should be a message for people who do have issues in their relationship because they're overcomplicating. Men are very simple. You see, all they want is a fat ass and a nice plate of food. But there are men out there who see beyond that because they're not thirsty. They're not simping. They're not their expectations are higher and you can't just win them over with a plate of food and some booty cheeks. And those are people like me. Okay, that's great. But what else? And the thing is, guys, you guys know what year we're in, right? It's 2025. And anything that you see someone cooking, you can learn how to do that. Like you guys understand that, right? Like cooking is not something that's impressive no more because now all we have to do is say, "Hey, ChatGPT, how do I make a well done steak or pan seared or shrimp and grits and give me step by step ingredients, help me build the shopping list, show me exactly what to do, how much to heat everything." You guys understand that? Like I literally make steaks, literally the best I've ever made them because I just use AI to give me the instructions. So when you're impressed by these things, it's because you don't know how to do things or you're not willing to learn, and that's how you get bought and sold in this shit, bro. Truth be told, I'm not going front. It's lame. There has to be a way of thinking better about ourselves and setting ourselves to higher standards. But I wish her the best. I really do because I know one thing for sure. As they say, the internet is going internet. Let them do what they do. You have your fun. You live your life. But there's really nothing special. If you're ruining your relationship over this girl, then you're just a loser. And whatever comes to you comes to you. That's your own fault. Okay. And now I want to get into Mr. Travis Hunter because why do I want to get into Travis Hunter? I wasn't even gonna talk about Travis Hunter. I wasn't because I feel bad. I don't like the way the internet is doing him, how they doing him. You know why? Because we don't know what's really the truth. We don't really know what's really the truth. But there is something I would say though. Outside of not knowing what the truth is, I think still, in the grand scheme of things, okay? Travis Hunter's girlfriend has had a rough history. She has put out countless things saying the things like, well, he would take me to parties and drop me off and would wait outside you know, until I'm done partying. The whole thing that started with her saying, oh, Travis Hunter isn't my type. Let me explain something to you. I don't know if these kids are just not media trained or this is good hype to get them, in the forefront of the NFL. But one thing I know about the NFL, because my boy plays in there, they don't play. This ain't the NBA. That image is everything. So if you look like trouble, you a bad look because the NFL is a business. People don't understand that. The NFL is an organization. They're a company. They're a business, and they want it to be represented in a certain kind of way. So do I think this is a good look for him as an NFL player, a part of an establishment? No, I don't. On the other hand, let's take a look into this. When you have someone, whether you're a male or female, this goes vice versa, who knows you're the star, but they find every little bit of way to say, I didn't think they were that cool. I didn't think they were that important. What does that say about you? Now, despite whether Travis Hunter's girlfriend knows what she's doing or she doesn't actually like him, the point is you don't say certain things to the public when you have someone whose whole identity is tied to the public because they're a superstar. Now, I do feel like Travis isn't wrong for defending his girl. Can this go completely bad? If everything they say about her is true and all these things about her is true, then yes, it's going to go only one way. Terrible. We're going to see another case of an athlete who gets everything he has taken from him because he gets her pregnant. He doesn't sign a prenup. And But here's the thing: we don't know if they're not just children who don't know what the fuck they're doing. Because sometimes we don't have much leadership, so we hold celebrities to such a high level of intelligence. It's like, why? He's a college kid playing football. When you were in college, did you fucking know anything about relationships? Your relationship was probably terrible too. And sometimes with narcissism, which she seems to have, and I saw her message about, she cleared up all of the rumors and everything. But sometimes with narcissism and being too egotistical, no matter what you say, we can still read through the truth that you don't give a fuck. And that you think it's all about you. And that you are the main character here. Really, Travis is the main character. So to say anybody is not your type, what does that say? Let's process that. Think about the person you're with or the person you're seeking. Imagine if you got to the big stage. He said, yeah, they was never really my type. That's belittling. You don't say that about nobody. That's belittling. And I don't care if you're a man or a woman. A lot of people are trying to make this a woman to man thing and a man to woman thing. No, this is universal. If you say that about anybody, it's belittling. It's almost telling the world, I settled. I settled. This person wasn't really my type, guys. Come on. They used to take me to parties and make me sit outside. So I want you to think about that. Next time you do something great in life, right? And listen to a person who said, man, they think they the shit. I remember when they used to motherfucking clean my sneakers, bro. What would that mean to you? That's exactly what's happening here. So with everybody, one thing I do like about the internet, people didn't like how Bow Wow came and stepped in. Which I gotta understand about Bow Wow is before Bow Wow was who I think he is now, Bow Wow was the one that girls had on a wall, on a poster. Y'all can't forget that. Y'all gotta remember. If there's anybody who could talk about this shit, it's him. Because he used to have the girls on his poster. Y'all gotta remember. That's like Chris Brown becoming an old man and trying to tell y'all about these hoes. You gotta understand something. Bow Wow can talk about that. All these other motherfuckers, y'all might not even be doing what y'all think y'all doing to give anybody advice. But what I believe this is, and I didn't hear Deion Sanders say nothing. I didn't hear his brothers say nothing. When I see stuff like this happening and I don't see people in their direct corner giving any advice, it makes me wonder, what does the internet think they fucking know? What do we think we know? That's why I say, if all of this is true, all I can look at is from a speculative point of view because I'm not going to get gaslighted into thinking this is some real shit when he's supposed to get the Heisman Trophy. Why now? Why now? That's what I always ask when these type of things happen is why now? Why, if he's been with the girl for 5 years, why was nobody talking about this then? You ever think about that? These are the questions that I ask. That's why I didn't jump on. I didn't say nothing. I didn't say nothing. Because I'm like, why now? Travis Hunter is a young kid. He's an athlete. He's going to make mistakes, but why now is it so publicized? If they quote unquote been together for all these years, they're children. And y'all making fun of him like he's a grown ass man who's 30 something years old. Simping. He's a child, bro. And my thing is this too. You gotta let people take their losses, bro. Let people take their losses. Y'all gave him enough information. If he wants to crash out and this girl is really that bad of a person, let him do it. But then my whole thing on the other hand is this. A lot of people who have stuff to say are making the same mistakes in real life. You think millions of people have their opinion and millions of people have perfect relationships? No. There are people talking about this like as if they got the perfect situation. That's what frustrates me about the internet and talking down on people who are still human because it's like, oh yeah, I'm in the comment section with it, so I could talk about Travis. All right, if he wants to crash out, clearly the girl has main character energy. We know that. She's a little bit narcissistic, but everybody is narcissistic in their own way. She's more outwardly narcissistic. They need to take their phones away. They need to get them off the internet and they need to be quiet for a little while. We will forget about it. And then if she does crash out and all these things are true because she came out and made you know, clarification on each of the situations that the media was trying to portray as her being the bad guy. And that's what y'all gotta understand about the media. It's not their job to make people look good. It's their job to create narratives. You guys don't even know what really happened about anything because you never got to hear it from the horse's mouth, only from the bloggers and the outlets. Y'all telling me his daddy gonna let him crash out when he's a walking ticket? Or maybe his daddy, maybe he won't even listen to Dion. Maybe he won't. Maybe Dion told him it's up to God now. It's in God's hands, Travis. Maybe he told him that. But all we have to do is wait. That's why I tell people, just wait, bro. Why y'all want to create narratives and y'all don't even know what's really happening behind closed doors with these people? They're young. Okay, great. Maybe I heard she was hearting NBA players' photos. That's why you don't give a chick no clout, bro. You don't give a chick no clout when you about to be the man. You got to test people's strength. You don't throw alley-oops to people. I mean, look at Kyah new girlfriend. She already getting Fashion Nova deals and other blogs on the poster. You only give a chick a clout, and that's what happens to a lot of these dudes and who are in position. I'm going to tell you now. On the flip side, a lot of y'all be giving chicks clout that didn't grind with you when you were broke. And so when they get the clout, they don't need you no more because they didn't have no stake in what you built. So when you get to this level of clout, oh yeah, now I'm getting me some brand deals. I'm getting me some bags. I'm getting me a whole new set of friends. Now I'm around the men I really want to be around because you're around those type of dudes. And now I'm in that atmosphere. So when I level up over you, I'm going to level up 10 times better. Though before you, I was way at the bottom. Way at the bottom. And you gave them a pedestal. And now they could dip off of you because they had no real invested interest. And that's the problem I tell people, like, when people don't have stake in what you're building, there's no reason for them to respect it, bro. There's no reason for them to say, yo, I'm going to stay with you because I've been with you for this long. I watched you go through this phase, and that's what made me love you. Not, you're famous, and I love you because of that. That keeps nobody, bro. Especially somebody. That's why I think famous people need to date other people as equally as famous as them. Or equally as invested in something at that high of level as them, because no one's going to care about what you built as much as you did, especially if they didn't have to. If you didn't earn it, you're going to burn it. And that's how I feel about this girl. If she doesn't have equal invested interest in what he's doing or something equivalent to that level, then there's no point of them being a power couple. That's not how power couples are created. If you're just kind of grinding and then this person is just there at all the new places that you put yourself into and they attach themselves onto you, bro, that's bound to be bad because there's no invested interest. Everybody must invest. That's the only way you feel a commitment, when you have to put in just as much work to get what you got. So I say good luck to Travis. Be careful if all this stuff is true. I mean, hey, like, we've all went through this. We all have. But the internet gonna do what the internet gotta do. And as I always say, some man has to get his money taken. Some man has to go through a divorce. Some man has to fall so deep in love with the coochie that he can't even really wake up and realize a red flag, red flag, red flag. Because if they didn't, there would be no lessons that the rest of the world can learn from it, right? So that's why I say, hey, do what you gotta do, brother. You know what I mean? You do what you gotta do, bro. Like, you can't stop the man from doing this shit. You can't. Like, you just literally cannot stop the man from doing this. And I don't want to. At this point, I don't want to. I want to talk about, you know, these holidays. The holidays are coming up, y'all. Don't go broke trying to buy gifts for the holidays. Why do I say that? There is an extreme pressure for people to buy gifts for their loved ones that they can't afford for the holidays. Now, I'm going to look up something while we're here live about how much money is expected to be spent on Christmas shopping this year. Let's do it. How much money, can type, money is expected to be spent Christmas shopping this year? Because what people don't understand is all of this stuff is perceived value. That's my new favorite word, perceived value. It's looking like $1 billion on holiday gifts. Overall, total holiday retail sales in the United States are expected to reach new highs, with the estimated suggested figures between $900 billion. Sorry, $900 billion is what people are expected to spend on Christmas gifts this year. But we still are poor. A lot of us are still working for average salaries. A lot of us have not even invested $900 billion, people. Almost $1 trillion, $989 billion is expected to be spent on this Christmas. So you mean to tell me like we don't have a spending problem, but yeah, everybody's still broke? Who is the genius behind Christmas? Because if we look at the original roots of all these holidays, how do we get to a place where we start spending money we don't have and change the cause of it? The cause of all this stuff was never for the reason we celebrate it. But yet we still are running up $900 billion for Christmas this year. Someone help me understand. If you don't have the money, don't buy the gift. Let me get into this, right? Spending culture is out of control. A lot of y'all are hitting every single holiday. You have Thanksgiving. You have Christmas. Then you have New Year's. Then we have a little break in time. Mother's Day will be coming up. And Lord knows how much money is going to be spent on Mother's Day. But in between that, 70% of Americans don't even have $1,000. But still we're reaching $980 billion in spending for Christmas. Please. Spending power is out of control. Now, let me break down the people you have during these holidays, because you have a few different types of people. Don't let nobody try to call you cheap this year because you're being financially intelligent. Don't let nobody call you cheap. And I'm a parent, and I'm telling you now, I'm buying my son the stuff I want him to have, that I've been planning on buying anyway, and it'll be nice to see him open it on Christmas. And all that is a baseball set. And whatever else stuff his mom gets him. A baseball set, because he's been getting really good at hitting. He's only 2 and he can like hit the ball out of the air. So I'm like, that's the stuff I want to invest. I want him to have that. But am I going to buy every single thing I see on TV that the kids love? No, because I still have personal goals that I'm attending to. Personal financial goals that I'm attending to. And if you have to go in debt for Christmas, cancel the Christmas. I'm sorry. You don't need a 6-foot real tree that costs you hundreds of dollars that you can't afford. Unless you're going to use that tree every single year and take care of it, put it in the garage, reuse it. Okay, maybe it's a worthy investment. And then there's another person who's going to try to make you feel guilty because you didn't buy them enough gifts. Leave that person alone. If there's anybody who could watch you go into debt and struggle financially to say you got me something, that is a very interesting person. A very interesting person who wouldn't want you to save more money, but would rather you spend money you don't have to appease them. If you're around those type of people, I feel truly ashamed for you. Now, there is another person who doesn't want anything, and you still feel the pressure to buy them something. Listen to that person, because they probably mean it. I'm always the person to tell someone, yo, bro, if you don't have it, like I wanted to see my mom this Christmas. I told her, I don't come. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work you don't have. Money you got to put gas in the car. You got to drive here. You got to get off your schedule. Maybe take some time off of work. Nah, it's all good. This ain't the season for that. I wouldn't pressure anybody into doing something that makes someone comfortable or puts them in a place that they're gonna have to take a lot of time to recover from. That's a very selfish person. I tell people, you don't need to buy me nothing. And there's also that person who is using you to not have to buy themselves something they can't afford. So people are asking for extravagant gifts that they've been wanting for a while because they can't afford it and don't want to spend the money or invest it themselves. And they're hoping that you will take the time to go into the hole so they don't have to. When you really look at all this stuff, right? That's what I mean. Like, I'm like, hey, bro, if you don't like me because I'm being financially savvy and I'm preparing myself. If you don't even have 6 months of emergency funds or 3 months of emergency funds, and if you lost your job today, you couldn't even afford to live in your apartment, but you're going out and buying gifts for Christmas, you're a loser. And you're thinking backwards. Your priorities are off. I'm going to be honest with you, man. Some of you are not going to like that take. But truth be told, if you are a man, right, and you telling yourself because you're listening to probably your wife, your girlfriend, we need to buy more stuff, but you don't even have enough savings or money to protect your family if it really snows on your life and you really get stuck, but you're going to go buy Ugg boots and fucking whatever, load the Amazon cart up because you feel like you want to have an aesthetically looking tree, dude, shame on you. Get your life together, bro. That's not how you live. You're about to break your back. You don't even have enough money to protect your family if you lose your job, but you're gonna go out there and scour for gifts? You can buy a gift any time of the year. If you couldn't afford a gift last week, why do you think you can afford it on Christmas? What is wrong with you? What is wrong with the world? What is wrong with the world? And then they try to guilt trip you into believing that if you don't do this, you're a bad person because you're not so struck on the consumer economy. You're not so head over heels on being a consumer. Imagine being around people when you say, yo, bro, let's be smart this year. We could buy a few toys. And then there's people like me who don't want a bunch of junk in my house because it's just going to get thrown in the trash. So basically, you're pissing money down the toilet, especially when you have young kids. Like if you have older kids, like maybe getting them a PS5, all that shit is meaningful. But it's like if you already have children who believe that what you bought them isn't meaningful because you didn't buy them enough, oh man, you're looking at a very, very, very hard life. A very expensive one at that. Like I'm a person like I believe in being creative. I believe that you can spend whatever you want, and that's just me. Some people value the cost of something over what it actually is. I'm a person like let's just spend time together. Like I'll buy you stuff, but you don't gotta buy me nothing because I know I'm only buying stuff if I can afford it. But I don't ever want people to feel like they gotta go in debt to buy me a gift. Nah, because I'll make you take it back to the store. Like I'm the type to give you the money back for something if I know you couldn't afford it. Like for that's me. I just don't believe that we should put pressure on people into buying things they can't afford out of our own self interest. I think it's wrong. I think it's wrong. And there's like this FOMO. There's like this FOMO. And I think like I've tried to think about the best gifts I ever received in life. And it was always out of just like the kind gesture of somebody. Like it was probably like a pack of socks when I really needed it. Like the best gifts I've always got were literally the most thought out. Like, yo, I really needed that. That's fire. Wow. And I didn't have to wait till Christmas. Like it's holiday time. And then if you think about finances, this is the middle of the month. A week later, you got to pay your rent. Like that's why some people go Christmas shopping in advance. Like they do it appropriately. But I just think that if you don't have the money, it's okay to opt out of the gift economy. It's fine. They're already gonna spend $900 billion. Look at that, $900 billion. We have a consumer problem in America. We have a spending problem in America. I think it's okay to say I don't want to be a part of it. I don't. I think it's perfectly fine to say that. Leave it up to other people. Don't listen to the people on TikTok who are selling products and their affiliates. This is the best Christmas gift to buy a 2-year-old because they're making money off your guilt. They're making money off your guilt. What other way to make you feel besides guilty? I don't know. I don't know. But maybe I'm the one that's wrong and it just doesn't get the point of spending money you don't have for one day, for a holiday that wasn't even originated around this thing and around this Santa Claus idea. And maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the one that's wrong, but you can let me know. But I think if you're guilt tripped by your spouse, your partner, I think you're with the wrong type of person. These type of moments create people. When you realize, well, if you sit down with your spouse and say, "We don't have the money to have an elaborate Christmas. Let's find a way to solve this." Versus, "Oh my God, this is terrible. Like you should spend more money." It's like, whoa, this is and then imagine living with that kind of person for 20 years. That when you want to strategize with them, they say the solution is spending more money we don't have because we want us the under the tree to look a certain kind of way. Evaluate your relationships, evaluate the people you're around during these seasons, and really ask them. Because this is how you'll like. I have a book called 19 Questions to Ask Before You Take Them Serious, and how they spend money and view money is a question in there. It is a very important one. It's like the way you look at money is important, and the way the people around you value money is important because after a while, it starts to affect you. Whenever someone else goes in the red, they can't handle their responsibilities, and you have to pick it up for them. You understand? So these things are important. Ask these questions this year. Let's watch what happens to people's relationships who have different ideologies. And if you lose a relationship over somebody not wanting to go into the red, You had to dodge the bullet if they don't want to be around you. Because if you're financially savvy, intelligent, and mindful and know what a budget is, there's some people who hate the word budget because they associate that with being broke. I associate that with a person who takes close and pays close attention to their money. And I can trust you because you trust your own money. You're not ignorant with your pockets. The most wealthy people have a budget, but somehow broke people believe budgets are offensive. But financial literacy, I don't know. Maybe because like I never had a big Christmas. I've had gifts on Christmas. I've done a lot of great things on Christmas. But I've also never really like felt the need for somebody to buy me things. I've never felt that. I think the most meaningful gift I ever got was like, I don't know. I was looking at my Apollo twin. Um, it's an interface when I was building my studio, and I got the money split with me, and it really meant a lot. Like, well, you really helped me get this Apollo twin. Like, I needed it to start recording music. Like, and I still have it 5, 6 years later. So like, it's just like those things are meaningful. Like, like, and I wasn't even on a Christmas, and like, there were some days I don't even remember doing anything on Christmas. I didn't care. I think that when you get older, and another thing I forgot to mention was like the idea of having to buy another adult a gift. Like, what the actual, like, you're an adult. Grow up. You know what I'm saying? And I think that some people don't want to grow up and they don't want to grow out of it. And we get so tied to what they made us believe in this world that we can never really get ahead. And I believe that anything that they made us believe in this world called America is designed to keep us below. Because all the things that make people successful are not taught traditionally. Entrepreneurship, you can't even find that in a regular public school. But yeah, you get Christmas break. Come on, can we get an entrepreneurship break for the future? So I just think I don't follow traditional norms because I question all of them. I question all the norms. Let me think here because there's so much stuff that happened this week. There's so much stuff. I think one thing I'll leave it off is Myron Gaines. Um, because no, I'm not even gonna do it. I'm not even gonna do it. I was gonna talk about Myron Gaines and his infiltration into black culture, but who cares? I think that these guys, I don't know. I think that these guys, we let the door open too far on black culture, and nobody cares about black culture anymore because we have everybody who can just infiltrate it, disrespect our people, and I don't think anybody cares. But maybe next week. But you let me know your thoughts. It's another episode of ThinkAMill. Man, I've seen a lot of cool things happening this week. We covered over some good stuff. Um, yeah, I think I gave you guys some good stuff that I've been going through. Wait a minute. You know what I will say? Gilly the Kid. Gilly the Kid, if you don't know him, Gilly and Wallow, they are the hosts of the podcast $1 Million Worth of Game. Let me say this. They've been doing a lot of ventures outside of $1 Million Worth of Game, which you absolutely should do. Okay? Because if you don't, what's the point of starting something, making millions off of it, and never branching out and expanding your horizons of how you can make money and going on different ventures? Gilly does a boxing match, and I believe it's Philly. And someone ruins the whole show because they were shooting outside. And Gilly was, I'll put the clip in. Gilly was telling everybody, get the F out. Y'all disrespected us. Y'all shooting outside at the police or whatever they was doing, fighting and all that nonsense. But this is why I say the hood don't love you, bro. Why do we keep trying to go back to places we made it out of? Why? Why do we keep going back to places we made it out of already? The hood has no love for you. Yo, I'm putting on for the city. But do you see what the city would do to you? Now, this is why I think that strongly. Survivor's guilt is real. Survivor's guilt is real. And we could disguise all of these things as uplifting the community. But there's no uplifting because poverty is poverty, bro. It's a state of mind. People think it's where you live. No, it's a state of mind. Poverty is a state of mind. And yes, for all you realists out there, yeah, it's statistics and how much money you make. But overall, poverty is a state of mind, bro. Like there's people really poverty driven physically and mentally. So when Gilly calls himself giving back and throwing boxing events in the hood, and then you get on there and say, get the f- out. What did you expect? What did you expect? Now there are good people because not everybody was there shooting. But this is what happens when you run a show and you invite real motherfuckers and the baddies and the hood. How many of us have to keep dying, hanging around each other until we realize, yeah, not a good idea to pack a bunch of people from the hood who their opposition is 2 blocks away, and this is the biggest event in the whole entire hood. What did you think would happen? Who did you think would show up? The kids who work in corporate? The college kids? Who did you think would show up to this? So I think that when you try to give back to people who never gave you anything, this is what you get. Now to me, like it's like yo, going to the hood is cool. But I think anybody who made it out, who really loved you, who's still in the hood would tell you, ain't nothing here, bro. It's nothing here, man. Like I got people like I hit up my people like, yo, what's going on? Ain't nothing happening here, bro. You ain't missing out on nothing. Oh shit, I felt guilty. I wanted to come visit, say what up. Nah, don't even do it, bro. It's getting nasty out here, bro. It's getting bad. Don't bring that shit you doing over here because motherfuckers ain't it's hating on you right now. Motherfuckers ain't changed, bro. Don't bring that over here. So it's like take the resources you have and tell people who are over there to come this way. It's more structure over here. I believe in giving back and doing all, but there has to be a point where you have to let it go. You made it. What point do you have to prove? But you know what it is? Loyalty to those roots. This whole thing about loyalty is literally killing me. Who knew loyalty could be so bad? Who knew loyalty could hold people back? That's something like to see that happen is just another testament like, damn, you can't do nothing. The hood is not going to change, bro. No matter how much you try to bring opportunities, the hood is going to be the hood. Like there's nothing new and under the sun. It's just the people there. There's nothing new. That's why I feel bad. I almost did. But I'm like, yo, if any of y'all should know, y'all should know. But this is how people who are successful put themselves in situations that ruin everything that they worked on. It's like, why would you work so hard to go back and be the same person? People don't want to feel like they switched up. But you did the moment you decided to do something different versus everybody who was in the same environment as you was doing. Whether it's like, I'm going to pick up a mic and start being creative and make content. You've already switched up. But this is the benefits of walking down this path over here. You've already changed. You already switched up on everything you know because you didn't stick with gang. You didn't stay on the block no more. You didn't do what everybody else was doing. You stopped going to this. You already switched up, bro. But people think that when you become successful off of what you switched up doing, that now you got to go back over there and share. Why? They don't appreciate it. Look at all the people who go back to their hood and end up passing away. All the good you can do, there's always going to be a rotten apple. There's always going to be a person that does, no matter what you could give away $1 million. They still going to say, you ain't doing enough, bro. I didn't get none of that money. You could do anything. You can go put houses and let people live in them for free. Man, this shit moldy. This house moldy, bro. They was shooting around the block. It's supposed to be gentrified. It don't matter what you do for people. Somebody's going to complain. That's why I say, yo, bro, what y'all putting on for the hood for? The hood don't love you. The streets don't love nobody. We told ourselves that. It's the biggest psyop ever, telling us the streets love us. Telling us to be loyal to codes made by man. Loyal to street codes that don't mean nothing. That only ends you up in a casket or jail. So the black leaders we have in our community, they do feel the need to give back. They do feel the need to do these things. But you know where it starts? The mental. We think that entertaining people and putting shit in front of people and bringing celebrities and cars. No, but the mental health has to change. Should successful people feel obligated to put on for their hometown? What you feel obligated for? I think maybe the people who truly believed in you at your hometown deserve an opportunity, but not everybody. Maybe you can go back and donate to the school and all that. But the hood, and that's why I think you got to save the youth. You can't save these adult crash outs. You can't. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do with them? What are you gonna do? They've already made their destiny. They've already sealed their fate. They've already decided that no matter what you come and do for us as a black leader, we still gonna shoot that shit up. That's why I was on this whole black empowerment thing for a long time, and I realized like, damn, you can say anything positive, and somebody gonna find something negative to say. I made a metaphor one day. I was like, yo, we all kings. We came from like ancient, like we came. It's impossible for us all to be kings and queens, bro. But shut up. Like you can't do nothing right. That's like I don't know if this is a hustle, a scam. I know the nonprofit wave is a big scam for a lot of people because they can make a lot of money pretending they're trying to do a lot of outreach and empowerment for people, but it's not true. How do you support your people? Give them an opportunity. Make a pathways for them to get jobs. Jobs is how you get people out of poverty. Jobs. When there's when there's high unemployment, there's a lot of crime. Get these people jobs. Stop entertaining people. Stop trying to entertain people. Help them get jobs. That's really what's gonna make it. Help people get jobs. So they don't have to be on the street all day. But instead, we want to entertain people. They're still starving. That's how you put on for your people. Put them in position. Don't entertain. Don't bring events. Because entertainment always leads to violence. When there's alcohol, when there's weed, it always leads to violence. That's not uplifting. That's just adding on to the issues. That's why a lot of people can't get events passed. Because the commissioners of these cities, they don't allow it because it brings violence. That's why a lot of people can't really throw events in their city because they be causing outrage and uproar. But that's my spiel, man. I think Gilly and Wallow is doing the best they can. I think Gilly and them, they call it $1 million worth of game, but they interview a lot of rappers, and it's a big contradiction to what that means to empower people. If that's what the show is about, but if it's just about interviewing rappers, then cool. I think Wallow's doing his thing, working on really empowering people, but who's really out here putting initiatives together to really empower the people in ways that really have made dramatic change? I'll wait. All right, people. See, I thought I was gonna be done with this episode, but it hit me after I was done. The whole thing with the guy Luigi who did harsh things to the CEO of United Healthcare. Now, I had the idea in my mind, but I just didn't think it was worth speaking about. But then I kind of logged back into the internet and I was like, yo, listen, I don't think I was too far off with this whole situation. Now, here's why I felt the way about the situation. Because I was curious why it's getting so much media attention. Okay? And I couldn't understand at first. I was like, who is pushing this to this level that is getting so much media attention? And then it kind of hit me. Now, just a few months ago, Donald Trump had an assassination attempt. We didn't even see this type of stuff happening. I mean, we were hearing about the president not being able to get access to enough Secret Service. Now, when I see this kid getting so much press, they're treating him like he is the biggest terrorist since 9/11. And you had all these school shooters, you had all these different people from all these different areas do harsh crimes and never get this much attention in terms of being escorted in helicopters. I mean, when you look at the kid, he looks like he's on his best behavior. This kid is on his best like beautified. I mean, the jawline is always getting caught. Everyone is perfect. Helicopter escorts, hundreds of police officers. I mean, they're treating the guy like this is a Marvel movie, and at any moment he can use his superpowers. So they have to restrain him and keep kryptonite around like he's some Superman. Now, mind you, why do I say all of this? This is media creating a message and a narrative. And I could be wrong on the narrative that the media is portraying, but let's understand something. America is a company about business. So this is a clear warning to the CEOs of the world that they're not safe. The people who could very well leave and take their business elsewhere. Now, the reason this hit me is because I watched the film We Crashed about the billionaire, um, the CEO Adam Newman and how he built We Crashed. There are people involved in this that are a lot bigger than you and I could ever imagine. Some investors right now are looking at this as like, well, our investment in the CEO, the person who controls the company, the person who is incentivized to help us get a return on our investment, are they safe? So this is a clear warning to the people of the United States. Do not mess around with our investments. Now, this is a protection. This is a message. This is a narrative. They did not do this same thing for Thomas Crooks. They did not do the same thing for any of the school shooters. We did not see them being escorted in helicopters, transferred to prisons, looking this beautified. All of this does not make sense. It is true publicity stunting. Because guess what, guys? This was all beautifully. This is a field day for the media. This is a field day. This whole thing, I mean, even down to the kid's name, everything is flawless. When you look at the kid, it looks like he just got a haircut before he got arrested. Everything is strategic, the high quality images. But you know what this did, people? When I'm listening to the word on the streets, this made America feel like that guy's a hero. They tried to paint it as like a warning that this is what's going to happen when you do something like this. We are going to find out and we're going to make sure you never see the light of day again. But the American people are like, yo, this guy's a hero. He stood up for something. But what about all the people who shot up movie theaters, churches, bars, schools, random acts of violence? I mean, what about the guy who went to a Target parking lot or supermarket parking lot in Buffalo and we didn't see this type of stuff happening, but this guy kills one CEO. And this is what we're seeing happen. So I've always asked myself, I was thinking about it last night, like, yo, why every time I see this guy Luigi in the media, it's looking like they, when Superman took down a villain and brought him into the Metropolitan Police Department and saved the day. Roll credits. $200 million budget. Why does this feel like this? And I realized this is a narrative. This is media. This is everyone working together as a conglomerate to say, you white CEOs of America, you have nothing to worry about. But the kids in the schools, we'll just install some metal detectors. No need to police escort and make a mockery and get 1,000 police officers to escort him to a prison and escort him to court. No need for that. Do you guys understand what's happening here? How big of a deal they're making this? And yes, everybody dying should be a big deal, but why this guy? Why Luigi? Why does he appear to be so flawless? And almost as if everything just goes together so cohesively. And I realize this is narrative, people. This is narrative. This is nothing else. Everything down to what was in the bag, everything down to the gun, everything down to how he planned to do it, everything down from the story of the CEO. He's insider trading, all this stuff, and it's just like blah, 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 blah. Another day in America where legacy media needs something to do, and it's to manipulate the people. I mean, think about Operation Mockingbird, where the CEO was behind all majority of the news outlets. in their messaging. Just look it up yourself. Operation Mockingbird. I tell you no lie. And when you understand these things, it makes you look at all this stuff like, what do you guys what are you guys doing here? What are we doing? What is it now? Do you guys want us to believe like you guys can take down super like don't try to be a hero? Was he a psyop? Was he like a I mean, he looks relatively calm. I mean, the kid damn near does not care. And they're trying to charge him with terrorism stuff and but mind you, what would make him any different from a person who decides to shoot up a school? Why don't they all deserve the same treatment? Hmm? I'm confused. All of it just makes no sense. So when I see the videos and I'm up last night, I said, why every time I look at this dude, it look like an action movie? And then it made sense. Media is pushing a narrative. This is publicity. This was a publicity stunt for the New York Police Department, for the city of New York, to send a message around the world that the people who drive this economy, the people who innovate and control, the people who are in bed with the politicians, the CEOs, the big conglomerate companies, you better fix this so we're not giving you no money for your campaigns. We're no longer donating. We don't feel safe. All these billions of dollars that we're bringing from our grand ideas, you better keep it in line. We don't need this type of shit happening. You guys got to understand. When you think about the Adam Newman story, right? And how he built WeCrash, there was a scene in there with the investor from SoftBank who gave him $4 billion to build WeWork. He said, I will use everything in my power to block you from going from IPOing. Everything. So when you have people with this much money who are getting money from people in Saudi Arabia, like we have to think about how deep the rabbit hole goes and how deep the rabbit hole goes in terms of big money and big politics. This shit isn't a cakewalk where he just assassinates a CEO at a major company that's worth billions and oh no, there's big money involved in this. There's somebody right now, if the business goes down for a day, is losing money and they're feeling that. There's somebody right now who doesn't need to have their next CEO at risk and have the company because you can't just pick up any CEO off the block and tell them to run an organization. If that was the case, anybody could just turn into a CEO and turn a company to $1 billion organization and maintain that. There's a lot of investment at stake. Somebody's pissed about this. So I was thinking about that. I said, man, this is a PR stunt. I don't believe none of it. I mean, I do believe he actually shot him. But the way they're the way they're putting it on the forefront is the PR stunt to me. They're trying to send a message. They're trying to create a narrative. And I think it's laughable. I mean, it looks like a music video where it's so curated and directed. You know? I mean, it's just like people die every day. What was such a big deal about a CEO getting murdered versus the school shooter? As I've been saying, but it's the narrative and they're sending a message to somebody, just don't know who, but pay attention. I just had to say that. I had to. Now, as far as Fresh and Fit has involved himself in a recent altercation with a comedian by the name of Drewski. Okay? Drewski did a skit and talking about you can't unlame anybody. Because what he was saying is like dudes who like get a lot of money and you can't really unlame yourself. Fresh and Fit responded, they called Drewski fat and blah, blah, blah. Going back and forth, they say he's a fool because he wiped the thought Ruby Rose. Here's my question. Fresh and Fit have infiltrated into the disrespect of black culture so freely. Mind you, he has like he's an African himself, or he's from Sudan, wherever, and his co-host is a Haitian. He's allowed himself to infiltrate black culture so easily. Now, here's the discrepancy here. No one has safeguarded black culture, and this is a proven example that no one has safeguarded black culture, and the people who are smart enough to know that know that. So people like Fit, Fresh, whatever his name is, Myron Gaines, they know I can step on black culture all I want to, and no one's gonna tell me to stop. So for me, I saw him saying things about reparations and black people are dumb. If you get reparations, what are you gonna do? Buy Jordans and drugs? No one has been able to stop him. Why? Because we were so busy worrying about beating on each other that we allowed other people to beat on us. And now it's almost like, well, what can we do? There's nobody in place to put an end to all of this. There's nobody in place, though we have billions of dollars generating trillions through our economy, we still don't have enough buying power to shut people up. We still don't have enough infrastructure that we maintain to tell people you better watch your mouth. But this is why unity was way more important than individualism. But we chose individualism over unity, and then we get confused when people infiltrate black culture. How are we confused now? So when people like our black comedians, they say something about black culture, or they say something about anybody else, then they fire back, and it's like, oh shit, we can speak on behalf of all of y'all. But we didn't safeguard our culture. We let everybody in. We let the floodgates fly through. You're welcome. You're welcome. You could be a star here. You can claim ownership. You could be a top 5 dead or alive, though you're not a representation of our history. We let people bombard us with statistics. We let people talk down on our woman. Shit, we talk down on our. We joined. The funniest part is with this whole red pill movement, right? This European narrative. We ingested on the down talking of our own woman to fit into a narrative of someone else who has nothing to do with black culture, which is crazy. And I'm not red pill. I'm not any of this other stuff. I can give two shits less now because red pill it has a deeper meaning. But I'm talking about the specific meaning of when it's about the awakening of what the flaws of women, whatever they want to call it. So my thing is this: a lot of the issues that are happening, other races are going through it with their women as well. But somehow black women have been such a dramatic target. And I say like this: keep the issues in house. We can argue about our own shit. Jews probably have their own things going on. Spanish people have their own thing going on. Why does everybody feel the need to infiltrate black issues? Because this is how important black culture is to a lot of people that they need to talk about black culture to stay relevant. Because everybody else they talk about, nobody either cares or you get canceled in a dramatic way. I guess my message for this is like, when did Myron Gaines think that his opinion meant something and was held so much value to black culture? Who told him that? Who told these guys this? Now, this is what happens when you give anybody some money and you let a bunch of men who don't know themselves start taking their word as law. It's like, man, to me, y'all see Drewski as a comedian. Drewski is a very successful entrepreneur, but he's a brand. He built something for himself from doing skits. Now, here's a problem: the discrepancy that we take from people when they are do jokes and skits. We tend to look at them as a joke. No, that guy has his shit together, but we can't see past the laughter because he's entertaining. But don't ever confuse entertaining with business. Some people entertain for money, but he's an entity. He has his shit together. What makes Fresh and Fit any better than him when they got their claim to fame from talking about women all day? And they don't even look like a representation of men who had women their whole life. They had to learn that and walk into that image. And then that came. But as far as black culture, it's like, yo, bro, what did anybody do to you? Why don't we just let it go too far? And when I see mine, I'm like, man, bro, like when I see these people, I'm like, man, that shit is terrible. That people are now more and more being more comfortable talking down on black culture with no fear, with no goddamn repercussions. But the floodgates is open. So that's why I say, you know what? I can't defend black culture because black culture don't even want to defend itself. Black culture don't even want to defend itself. Women still go up there, let them do what they do. Who can we be mad at now? There's nobody to be mad at. Like, to me, this is an epitome of black culture no longer has representation. And some people may say it never really had representation. But to me, this is an epitome that black culture no longer has representation. Because we're going into a new generation and there's still yet to be anybody to really hold it down in a major way, but individualism. So I say, there are probably a lot of people doing good things for black culture behind the scenes. Do not get me wrong at all. But is there a representation where it says, yo, bro, and then they get respect from other races and other nations? I'll wait. I wait. So when I see this, I'm like, yo, what about your people? But we let it go too far. We let everyone infiltrate. This is the epitome. And now he went from women to black people. It's sad to see, but the individual is like, hey, he ain't talking about me. I don't fit that narrative. I don't fit that description. But there has to be a point when we say, nah, that shit can't fly, bro. But he thinks everyone is low IQ. And what does that say to the man sitting right across from him who's a Haitian, who's of Haitian descent? I mean, look what they did to Haiti, America. You sitting over here talking across from a person who has white supremacist talking points, and I believe he's Haitian. Look what they did to Haiti, the first free country. They tried to starve them to death because they got their own independence. America, I'm talking about. And this is how you let a man talk about, because you know, race is a social construct. That shit was invented to keep white people on top. So now when we talking about race, anybody who is of dark pigmentation, we all fit under the same narrative. Ain't nobody gonna be like, yo, when you get arrested, ain't nobody like, you a Haitian or you black? You dark skin, you dark skin. So I say all that to say, men who surrounded themselves with these weirdos, I think it's a little bit of a weak standpoint when you turn your back on your own roots to fit into a narrative that had nothing to do with you. There's nothing wrong with having this awakening and understanding of woman's true nature. Great. But when you stand behind people who literally laughed at it, because like that's like me if I said I talk down on white women and I still got white homies, I would look at them weird. Like you let me talk down to your people like that? And you still hanging around me? Me, you ain't even from the same lineage, bro. And I could tell you how much I look down on those people and still be around you. What would that say about that person? Or if I could sit in a room with someone talking so downly on my lineage and my people, and I'm still sitting there laughing with them, ha 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 ha. That shit is weird. But as a lot of people would say, that's just not my problem. When do we get a grip? You let me know your thoughts. But that's another episode of ThinkAMill, man. It's your boy Dre. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment. Very important, very helpful. What they be saying? Very demure. Not playing. But it's all much appreciated. Trying to fuck this algorithm up, y'all. But yes, I'll see you guys next week. Peace.